Hello, my name is Alex Locke, and I'm a member of the local Liberal Democrats, but everything in this video is purely of my own opinion. Now, today I want to talk to you about SEND provision here in North Northants and talking around the challenges I've had and what I feel we should be doing to going forward. So, um, in North Northants, we had an inspection back in 2024 from the Care Quality Commission and Ofsted, who said there were systematic failings, and those who've gone through the process or are going through the process now know there's a lot of headaches, lots of waiting, a lot of anxiety, and it's horrible for us as parents, and it effectively, it impacts the children, and that's the important thing. And what I'd like to see is obviously a bit more integration of the system. So at the minute, I feel like I'm talking to one person. They got one story. We could talk to another. They got another. The Northants and the school they tried to send us to. We seem to be on completely different wavelengths and understandings of what the situation was. I don't want to, say that necessarily people weren't telling the truth, but there was definitely some challenges around that, and there was definitely different stories being told by different parties. We had unfortunately had to go down the tribunal route. We did get the outcome that we are looking for my eldest, but they shouldn't have gone down that path. They understood what the requirements were at the beginning. They changed their mind when they decided what school my eldest went to, and we then had to go down a quite a combative route, which is again something that many parents will be familiar with, and it's very frustrating. And when it came down to it, the local authority went, "Oh, you're absolutely right," and then they just ruled in our favour. Not because we had to do much. We just had to state the obvious, and it's frustrating when you feel like you're having to state the obvious. And for me, this is quite personal because I'm a man I'm on the spectrum, and I was diagnosed when I was young. I was nonverbal to quite a late age, 4 or 5, just before school, maybe just a little bit into school. I went to a unit for a few years, and then I got integrated into mainstream schools with a minor support. And that kind of early intervention allows for children to get their best opportunities at life. And that's what I want for my children, is what I want for children everywhere. So, that early intervention is a key feature of the Milton Keynes model. And the Milton Keynes model very much focuses on integrating a multi-agency model, and is very much about a forecasting demand, which is something I have actually noticed with my youngest. I've been approached by a health visitor to make sure that we've said what needs we believe she's going to need, and they're starting to now, forecast it. But it feels like things they should have been doing years ago, and it feels very simple that you could be talking to nurseries such as Pengreen, which is a brilliant establishment here in Corby, to get to those needs earliest, because earlier intervention means better outcomes. Simple as. And yeah, Milton Keynes has a great model of that, and they do very structured approaches. They do transitions very well. They work to make sure that even post 16, that there's a plan for what they're going to do next in life, be it work, maybe further education, be it academic or more vocational, whatever it is, making sure that from the beginning till they become adults, that they have the best opportunity, and they are given the most support to really find that opportunity in life. Um, and there's a lot around, at North Northants, and when they assessed, they said EHCP quality was atrocious, which I can testify to my own personal experience. The assessments all over the place. We had some that were done straight away, some that were done multiple times, some that were done and no one really knew why, which was wasting NHS money and time. And then obviously the whole discussions and just the honesty around things, and even I think one comment that I'll share was that was stated by someone at North Northants is that, well, many children have needs. Well, as a parent, and any parent out there, you're not going to be bothered about my children, and I'm not going to be necessarily worried about yours. Your children are your priority, and that is really, you can't be approaching parents like that. It's really, it's a really nasty, shameful way of doing things, and that's not on. So obviously this is all under pressures for money and budgetary, but we can use the budget and the funds we have now, and maybe some additional investment, which I think is more than within the capability of the council, to just help bridge that gap and help local schools provide that provision elsewhere, and moving to a more integrated model to help solve these complex needs. We see this in other facets of North Northants, where left hand doesn't know what right hand's doing. It could be anything from potholes to flooding to anything else that we see here. And around SEND provision, we see the exact same thing. And we need this to be integrated. We need to organize our teams and the council and the local officers to make sure that they can succeed in helping in these, in these complex situations. So that's why I think it's worked for Milton Keynes. It's been working for them for a while. I think it's a good model to approach. I hope that the current administration takes it into form, and I will be campaigning for it personally, and I hope for the party in the near future. Thank you for listening to me, and if you have any questions or thoughts, more than happy to hear them. Cheers, everyone.